morning, and I'm so excited. Hi, I'm Queen D, and I am back in Florida. And I'm back in Florida for a podcast convention, but I'm also here because I want to introduce this beautiful attorney who's with me here. And we're going to get in some really good conversations about Florida, because I hear a lot of stuff going on in Florida, girl.
Oh, yeah.
So good morning, how are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Good morning, you too.
Thank you. And your
Thanks
name is,
for
tell the
having
world
me.
is who you are, beautiful.
I'm Erica Burns.
Okay,
attorney
Erica.
at
You
law.
see, look, attorneys are gorgeous now. Okay, they're not like a long time ago attorneys. These attorneys just come out stepping looking good. Okay, they're not
Thank
playing.
you.
They're not
Thank you.
playing. They're doing it. Okay.
Yes, we slay on the runway and in the courtroom.
That's what I'm talking about, and other places too. Okay, because you know, Queen, keep it real. But anyway, so you live in Florida. How long have you been living in Florida?
Oh, I've been in Florida since 2004. 20 years now.
And you're coming from
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo. Oh God,
Yes.
it's so cold there.
Actually, a really small town
Yeah.
outside of Buffalo called Grand Island.
I bet you had a lot of snow.
We had a lot of snow. The lake effect snow was serious.
Oh God.
But I don't, I miss it a little.
Uh-huh.
I learned
Miss
how to
those
ski.
seasons, right? Those
Yeah,
four
yeah,
seasons?
yeah. Now it's getting too hot
Yes.
here.
I understand.
I don't like to be outside.
I understand.
It has
I'm
to be
from New
cool.
York. I get it. I'm from New York, so I understand
Right.
snow. And but I do miss the seasons, dressing up
Exactly.
and changing.
The fashion
You know, it's all about
is a big
fashion for
part of
us.
it.
That's why we
Exactly.
like. That's why we like Four Seasons of fashion.
Exactly.
Okay. Really, not about the weather. It's the
Seriously.
fashion.
Yeah. And
Right.
skiing. Do you ski?
You know, a little
Snowboard?
bit. A
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. Yeah.
I love it.
I
grew
love
up
skiing. Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
I
I'm trying
love
to get
it.
my fiance
Blacks
into
do
it.
ski.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They even have black
Absolutely.
ski groups too,
Yep.
right? I know
Black
that.
Ski Summit is one of the biggest
Mhm.
ones. They do it in, I think, March.
Okay, I gotta keep that in mind. I'm a March baby. I gotta
Yeah.
keep that in mind. That'll be something nice for me to do.
I've never been though.
Really?
Yeah, it's really crowded.
Okay.
And I worry about, like people getting hurt.
You don't be like
or
with a
hurting me.
Paltrow bringing somebody to court for that ski incident she
I
had.
I might sue you.
Okay. She is an attorney. She will sue you, but all right. We got that right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now I want to ask you a few questions here. Starting with, so you grew up in Buffalo.
Mhm.
You have your parents still alive?
My parents are still alive.
What a blessing.
Still married.
Awesome.
They'll be celebrating 46 years of marriage.
That
this
gives
year.
us all hope, everyone.
Yeah.
She's married.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That gives us hope, because usually when you see someone as beautiful as you, they always go, I'm divorced, I got my bag, I'm doing my thing, I don't need
Yeah.
nobody.
Well, I'm
You
not
know
married
what?
yet.
Oh,
I'm
you-
engaged.
Well, that's, you married.
Almost.
You
Yes,
married if
yes,
you
yes.
engaged, because we always speak positive.
Right, yes.
And that is a beautiful ring.
Thank you.
God bless your
Yeah,
man.
you did good. Well, I
You did
designed
good.
it.
Okay.
We
She's not
did
playing.
good.
She designing her stuff.
I did.
I hear
did.
you. I hear you.
I
don't
couldn't even-
blame
when
you.
it
You
was
wanna make sure
ready,
you
like-
want to have it on for life. You might as well make sure it's something you like, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And when it was ready, I couldn't even wait for him to go pick it up. He was working, and I was like, "No, don't worry. I'm gonna go to the jewelry store and go get my ring. Thank you." I couldn't sleep for 2 days waiting for it to be ready.
I don't blame you.
That's
I
just me.
don't blame you. So your parents now, did they encourage you? Now, when you was a little girl, did you always want to be an attorney?
So I did actually.
Oh.
Mainly because I'm argumentative. My parents used to say all the time, like, "Oh, you'd make a great lawyer." Like, why are you always talking back and asking questions? And it's like, you do what we say you do because you live here for free, and we tell you what to do. So I started taking law classes as electives in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was something I always wanted to do. Then I went to Miami for undergrad
Okay.
and partied a lot. I
That's
kind
why
of took
you-
my
That's why you in
time.
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. And then eventually made it to law school. But I
Mhm.
didn't make it to law school till I was 27.
Oh wow,
I
that's
did.
wonderful.
Yeah. I had parents who were really understanding. Like my dad,
That's a
my
blessing.
dad went to the military at 25. So
Uh-huh.
he was a little bit of a late bloomer also.
Uh-huh.
Just like living and being young.
Yeah,
So they were
yeah.
kind of supportive with that. They were
That's
like,
wonderful.
go ahead, just don't stop going to college, and know that at some point you have to wake up and be an adult. So I
You
became
were
a lawyer.
blessed to
at
have
age
parents
30.
like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of parents are just the opposite. You know what? We brought you in this world, and we
Right.
paying for this, and you staying in our house, and you gonna do what we say, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
type of thing. So that's a blessing if you have parents
They
so
are nice.
flexible with your life.
They are. They
Because
are.
it really changes how you feel about things when you
Exactly.
have parents like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was able to be myself
That's right.
and not have to feel like I was doing this to please or anything
Exactly.
else, and I can move at my own pace, and I needed
Exactly.
that, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, by the time I went to law school, I was 27, going to law school with 22-year-olds. They were hanging out, partying and drinking. I was in the front row of school with my hand up.
Okay.
Graduated top of my class. I was ready to work.
Yeah, because
you know?
you had the wisdom now. You done already
Right.
had your fun.
Exactly.
Now you
I got
the
it out of my
wisdom.
system. Exactly.
Yeah, you got it out of your system, so now you're ready to work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
So your friends, did they follow your footsteps, or they did something different? Your best friends and stuff, you know?
So yeah, no, I was actually the only one that graduated years later. All my friends were gone, left Miami, living their lives. You know, I just always kind of ran my own race
Well, that's
at my own
good.
pace.
Leadership qualities, you know, because
Yeah.
you're doing your thing,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So would you say out of your parents, who was the one that mentored you the most, that you, because usually it's
I
one
would
of the parents that balance off you.
I would say it's both, just in different
Really?
ways.
Oh, wow.
My mom definitely mentored me in being like a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say my dad is the all business.
Okay.
You know, when I excel in things with work and business, my dad's always the one that I call.
Okay.
But when maybe
That's
I
wonderful.
go, you know, something with my fiance,
Yeah.
I'm calling my mom. Like, guess what?
Yeah.
You know, those sort of things. But I would say that I learned a lot equally from both my parents.
That's wonderful. Now, who inspires you? Like when you was like going to college, do you have any people or mentors that inspired you for your journey in becoming an attorney?
I would say that, honestly, like the only person that inspired me the most was my dad.
That's wonderful.
I was really in competition with him though.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I always wanted to be better than him. To
Okay.
me, he was very impressive, right?
Okay. What
We
does he
grew
do?
up,
Excuse me if it's-
so he's been retired
Okay.
since I was 15.
Yeah.
So, but he was
Wow.
you're right.
15.
Yeah, so he had me at 40, but still,
Oh.
he retired at 55, right? Who
Wow.
does that?
Yeah, who does
exactly.
that? Yeah.
So he was a SAC agent, a special agent in charge with the IRS in
Okay.
Buffalo.
Okay.
So he was a top dog, had a really good
Awesome.
job. We lived in an all-white area,
Okay.
you know, in one of the nicest neighborhoods.
Mhm.
So it was very clear that, like, okay, my dad is somebody, and especially being a black man,
Okay.
he
Yeah.
was really somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So I think for me, I just always was like, oh, I want to be like him, but I want to be better than him. I want to
Oh,
make
that's-
more money than him.
Okay.
You know, so when I got my first job offer and it was more than him, I was like, booyah!
Okay. And he
But
was
it,
like,
you
I'm
know,
happy.
it's
I'm
friendly
happy.
competition,
But
right?
that was a
Exactly. Well, I
comfort
think
to
I was
him.
probably the only one in competition.
But I'm sure your father was like, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, he
You
always
know, she can
raised.
take care of herself, and
Yeah.
you know she wants to continue to do great
Exactly.
things.
And he
That's
always
awesome.
raised me and my brother to be better than him. You know.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, I will.
Oh, so did your brother do the same thing?
So my brother is, he's currently working.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own lawn care business.
Okay, so,
So
he's
we're
different
both
from
entrepreneurs,
you.
yeah.
Entrepreneurs, but
And
just
then he
different.
had
He
kids
wants to be
younger.
calm while you yelling, fuss in court. He just
Exactly.
look. I'm gonna do the calm life
100%.
while you go up there and you just fuss at everybody. Okay?
100%. And then he had kids younger. So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is more available for his kids.
Yeah.
I think he's a great dad. So he's more of the family man. I
Uh-huh.
am the loud, in your face,
Okay.
chasing money, and, you know, not getting engaged or having babies until I'm almost 40 type of personality.
Okay, and so now I've noticed that there's a trend with
Mhm.
people in our community. The women are having children much
Mhm.
older now. So have you considered any of the risk involved with that?
Honestly, not really. I
Okay.
think for me, I always knew, you know, I never wanted to be married in my 20s.
Okay.
Even though I was a relationship girl, I was more so like, unfortunately, you met me too young because I'm not going to marry you. I'm just learning, right?
That's smart,
I
though, that
wanted
you knew exactly what you
experience,
wanted.
yeah. And I never really wanted to be married in my 30s, or excuse me, my 20s.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't even realize that I wanted kids until I was about 33, 34. I was on the, you know, I'm going to save my money and I'm
That's
going to
wonderful.
travel.
Okay.
I had an aunt who she never had kids.
Okay.
And she traveled the world. She's a she's a professor basically in
Uh-huh.
massage therapy.
Uh-huh.
Traveled the world doing that.
Yeah.
And I always envied that. And
Yeah.
my dad always promoted that, like, oh, you know how much money I would have if I didn't have your mom and you, you know? Like,
Okay.
So I was like, oh, you know, but
She
then,
thinks that?
yeah, you know, but then you get older, you
Yeah,
get in
you
more
understand.
mature
Yeah,
relationships,
yeah.
and I realized, yeah, you know what? If
Mhm.
I'm looking back at my life at 80, and I'm
Mhm.
looking back at my life
Mhm.
experiences and
Mhm.
never having,
Mm-hmm.
you know, carrying a child or
Yeah.
the first day of kindergarten or being
Yeah.
able to see my daughter getting
Yeah.
married or my son, you know, I was like, I
Yeah.
probably regret that.
Yeah.
So, but I met some doctors too who were like, those
Okay,
medical
so you
books
already
that
did your homework.
Did my homework.
Good.
Did my homework.
Good.
Knew I'd be safe too.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, the
Yeah.
medical books that teach us are on
Mhm.
Caucasians.
Yeah.
And we're built
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah, we are.
So
We are. Yeah, so those are some good things to know.
Yeah.
But our community tends to have a lot of children, and that is not the black community, but also the brown community as well. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because we need to continue this journey, this legacy.
Exactly.
so
And it's nice to
very
have
important.
like your life together and money and kind of
Mhm.
breaking cycles of
Yes.
having kids.
Generational curses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On welfare, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
your kids are
Yeah.
seeing you do that.
Oh.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
hard for our community.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have had a child when I was an undergrad,
Yeah.
how would I have made it to law school?
You would. Knowing
But
you
possibly.
would have.
Yeah. Probably.
Maybe someone else, but you, because
Right.
of who you are, you definitely would.
Yeah.
I know that. You'll be like, I got the baby right here in court with me. Let me
Let's
feed
go.
the baby and do this case,
Let's
okay?
go.
I got this.
Got my bottles and my briefcase.
I know you. Yeah, I can tell your spirit. Yeah, which is
appreciate that.
beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I was going to ask you something about some politics here because I have to, because this is Florida, and I have looked up some things, and I was kind of hesitant because every time I go to Miami, I go, yeah, I want to move here so I can feel like I'm on vacation. And then I see the politics. I'm like, I don't know if I can deal with. I don't know if I can deal with DeSantis. I don't know if I can deal with this whole thing. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about DeSantis in office? Does that affect anything in your life? Because a lot of times people feel politics don't affect them, but it really does.
Absolutely. And local elections matter the most.
Yes.
Don't forget about that. I mean,
Absolutely.
even when it comes to electing judges and the way in which they rule, it matters a lot. Judges have a lot of power. DeSantis has a lot of power. I think that the most way in which he's gonna affect my life, I think, is gonna be with my children and all the laws that they're making about books and schools. I mean, and the law is so broad that these schools they're so nervous because they're literally subjecting teachers and administrators to criminal acts for keeping certain books in the school. So they're
It's scary.
getting rid of tons of books, even dictionaries, because of what the laws are. So it's insane.
Have you and your fiance considered moving to another state, like research different states and what they have to offer as far as education?
We actually haven't. I would love to live out of the country. I think I'm still convincing him of that.
I agree.
So far, I've got him to agree to do summers out
Yeah.
of the country, and then hopefully he'll fall in love with a place, and then we won't have to leave.
So what countries have you had a chance to visit?
Oh, I've been to Greece, Italy,
Yes,
everywhere in the Caribbean.
Have you been to London
I haven't.
and France?
I've been to France. I've been
Okay.
to Paris. Greece was
Spain?
my favorite.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Spain. I was supposed to go to Spain April of 2020. COVID happened and ruined my trip. But Colombia.
And now a lot of people going to Ghana. Have you considered Ghana?
I haven't gone to Ghana. I haven't been to Africa yet. I definitely want to go to Africa.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I actually just got back from the Virgin Islands, the
Okay.
U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Me and my partners went there for a partner retreat, so that was nice. Very beautiful.
Beautiful.
My favorite though had to be Honduras. I went to Honduras. It was a very off-road experience, hiking, not the glam sort of vacation. I really enjoyed that.
I had been researching this too, thinking about what you were saying about children and everything. And I've noticed they got on YouTube all these websites now, blacks moving out of the country. One of the hot spots is Portugal. So I'm going to Portugal to find out more about Portugal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I find out because my fiance is like, we need to go check out Portugal.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe.
Yeah. So that's one place I'm looking at. And I've been to London. I've lived over there for 5 years. I know
Really?
it's like, I've been to France. See, because my ex was an expat. We were expats in another country. This is way back about 20 years ago. And so I got an opportunity to live over there and see what it's like to live in England, to see what it's like to live in France, visit Spain, all of those countries and areas. The only thing I didn't get a chance to do was Africa, which I'm looking forward to because I've been offered some things and I want to do young, famous, and African.
Oh, nice.
Interview them.
Yeah, they have a show on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah,
What
they
is
do.
it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm hip to
So,
reality.
Yes. So I'm looking into doing that and everything. And plus, we've been offered to go over to England, London, because the Black Brits want me to do the show over there.
All right, yeah.
So I'm going to check it out.
Fun.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, a lot of her family, they're Jamaican.
Yes.
In
Yes.
England.
Yeah. So well, see, my ex was Jamaican.
Mhm.
That's why I know.
Right.
But so I did love. So check out England too, because England, has some really good education,
Right,
and
yeah.
it also has good health care.
Mhm.
Switzerland has some good health care.
Yeah.
One of the top in the country, in the world,
Right.
so to speak. So traveling is awesome because I've been to a lot of countries and stayed in a lot of countries. So it is a beautiful thing. And for our people, with this community, with the way the country is going,
Right.
we definitely have to research those things and
Right.
see what's best for us now. Maybe we don't, we were born here against our will,
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah.
So we don't have to stay if we don't want to, just
Exactly.
because we've been conditioned to stay. We
Right.
don't have to.
Exactly.
Don't let them start preaching.
And then things are just going so far backwards.
It is going backwards, and that's
So
why you have to
far
consider
backwards.
these things.
Right.
And I always say no means next, which means,
Love that.
yeah. So if you go somewhere and you don't like it, you're not committed to
Right.
stay. No
Exactly.
means next. I don't like it here, I can change it.
Right.
That's in anything in life.
Absolutely.
No will
No
always
means
be
next.
next.
Love
Like
that.
next, okay.
Right.
Don't like the store, they don't treat you next. I don't have to stay here.
Right.
Job, I don't like it. Bye.
Next.
So that's what you do next. And because life, you got choices.
Right.
So don't limit yourself, and tell your fiance don't limit himself either. Just go check it out. You don't like it?
I mean, he can limit
Next.
himself to me.
Oh, just you. Of
No,
course.
yeah. Can't next me.
Okay, we know that's right. We know that's right. Yeah, so moving right along, I wanted to talk a little bit about the entertainment world. What would it be without a little bit of entertainment? Everything's going on. So I see so many different things happening now in entertainment. And one of the things that I've noticed is like people rising. So let's talk about Shannon Sharp. Okay, let's talk about him. Shay. Club Shay. Okay, a lot of things is going on with him now, and he's rising. And when that whole debacle, you know a little bit about sports.
A little bit, yeah.
That debacle with Skip. That's
Oh, yes,
why he left.
right,
That's
yep.
why he left that. Well, we know that Cat, what's it, Cat Williams?
Mhm.
Yeah, he came on the show. So you do know about that, right?
Yes.
So what do you think about what he did to the other entertainment? Did you believe any of it?
I believe some of it.
Uh-huh.
But some of it didn't necessarily make sense even in what he was saying.
Mhm.
One of the things being his issue with what's the comedian with the morning show? Ricky Smiley.
Ricky Smiley.
They were both
Yeah.
telling the same story, and I
Yeah.
could see how even when Kat was telling it, both of what they were saying could be true.
Yeah.
Right? So
Mhm.
some of those things, but I think, and then it was a little far-fetched when he was talking about, if you sign on this dotted line, you'll get a funny face, light-skinned wife. And he was talking about Ludacris and Ice Cube, but a lot of these men had been with their wives before they became so some of it was a little outlandish,
Yeah.
but some of it I think was honest and needed to be heard, needed
Yeah.
to be said.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to defend
Yeah.
themselves.
Right.
I think he was defending himself amongst a lot of rumors. And I think he did a good job with that.
Yeah. What do you think about Taraji P and how she went on, the media thing about what is happening with black actresses? And do you think that that hurt her in any way with that Oprah thing? Because she did The Color Purple. Now, do you believe a lot of people are saying that she would not have had to cry out had she been paid well on The Color Purple? Maybe she would not have been crying out, because we thought that was a little imbalanced. Like, okay, you doing The Color Purple, and now you decided
Complaining about
to start
income.
complaining and income. And
Well,
stuff.
I don't think
That's kinda
Taraji
strange.
started it. I
Oh,
think
okay.
it was a battle that was started by honestly white writers.
Oh, okay.
This was, I don't
Didn't think of that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Taraji came out, as far as I remember
Yeah.
correctly,
Uh-huh.
this was after the strike had even started. So I think she realized, look, I'm in this group of writers and actors who aren't being paid well, so I want to speak on it. I didn't watch the whole interview. I have to say that, but I don't think it was about, to slight Oprah
Yeah.
or The Color Purple.
Yeah.
I think she was, she's outspoken and
Yeah.
she's going to tell her experience,
Yes. Yeah.
And unfortunately her experience hasn't been the best. And it
Yeah.
needed to be said.
I agree because I was thinking to myself, like, I don't believe she did anything to Oprah.
Right.
It's just that you know how the world spins
Right,
that
the
whole thing. Like,
timing,
hey,
yeah.
the timing is kind of off. Are
Right.
you saying Oprah's not paying you?
Right.
You know, that's what it looked like.
Right.
You know, yeah. So that's why I had to ask about that because and I wanted to ask you also about the Beyonce concert. Now we know that those tickets were $1,000 a piece.
Yes.
Okay. Now our community, because you know Beyonce and Jay-Z do a lot of stuff in the communities as well. But the thing is this: do you feel that our community, even if they got money, should be spending $1,000 on a ticket? Or do you feel that they should be putting that in a 401k plan or saving their money, you know, so they can be as rich as Beyonce and Jay-Z?
Well, I would say, you know, yes, that would be ideal, but I'm also really big on, like, you have to live your life.
Yeah,
you know, when you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And just because you make a certain level of income doesn't mean you shouldn't travel and enjoy things, because you never know when your time is up.
You got that right.
You know, and unfortunately, there's so many things that work against us and prevent us from having a lot of money, and that can't always be your excuse to stay away from your idol, you know, and experiencing something amazing. I understand why Beyonce did it, though.
Hey,
you know, I mean,
she's a businesswoman.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you look at Taylor Swift's concert.
Okay.
And I mean, and even the album that she made, I think she was searching for a new crowd that spends more money.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, I mean, Beyonce's trying to hit her first billion.
Queen D is doing her thing, you know. What I love about her is that she's showing you that each generation she can cross all ages.
Exactly.
And as she ages, and she's bringing her daughter out, which I think is a beautiful thing, because my niece looks exactly like her. I'm like, oh my God, my niece favors her so much. Yeah, I'm like encouraging her, get out there, do your thing,
right,
you know? Yeah, so I just think it's really encouraging because what I've seen is that times have changed and women have changed, just like you decided that you don't mind having a child older.
Right.
Also, what that means is that every experience that we have, we don't have to say, fit into a box, so to speak.
Exactly.
You know, like, okay, so now that, you know, I'm 50 now, I guess it's over for me now.
Yeah, right.
And that is old school teaching.
Yeah.
Because I think it's great when you have people like Beyonce and other women, like Taryn Hall. I remember seeing her at NABJ. And I remember when she was at that whole function, and that was here in Florida as well, at the Turnberry. And I remember her saying, I'm going to be starting my own show. Now, I remember her actually saying that.
Right.
And we all kind of, you know, because when people say things, we see her, we don't see her vision.
Right.
We just hear what she's saying.
Right.
And I just love how she took the bull by the horns and she said, I'm knocking these doors down and I'm getting in, and you guys ain't stop me for what you did with me with Savannah Guthrie, okay?
Right.
All right.
Sword.
Yes. So I love that. So going forward, what's on your bucket list that you want to achieve?
Bucket list is definitely, I want to be able to retire at a decent age. You know, 54, so I can beat my dad.
Even if it's just 1 year.
Just one year, even 1 month.
1 year.
Gotcha. That's huge for me. I definitely want to have a couple of kids, but also what's really important to me is to make sure that I don't lose like my business drive.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that kept me from having kids. I just have always wanted to be independent and have my own. And sometimes I would meet women with such a juxtaposition to me that are like, oh, I just want a family and kids, you know?
Right.
Really? It kind of felt like maybe it was like a disease that if it got on me, you know, it would change me.
Do you think that was a little bit of fear, though?
I do have a little bit of fear about what motherhood would do to my business mind, you know? But
you're in the right generation then.
Right.
You're in the right era, because you don't have to worry about nothing. Now there's people working with their kids from home and taking them with them to work, and you don't have to work a full 5 days anymore. Times have changed so much.
And I have my own business, so that helps a lot. I've put myself in a place. So I have my own law firm. It's Burn Shepherd Favors.
Okay.
And we're in Florida, Maryland, Georgia, and DC.
Awesome.
And we practice personal injury, so car accidents, slip and falls, dog bites, shootings, wrongful death, medical malpractice. Call us. If anybody's hurt, Give us a call. We'll see. You
Wonderful.
might have a case. You never know. You know, we hold insurance companies and businesses responsible for making sure that their patrons stay safe. You know.
That's awesome. So how do you manage all those businesses and make sure that the employees are there and everything is running smoothly?
It's
That's
all
gotta be
about
quite-
systems.
Yeah.
Spending the time and building your systems and procedures in place so that way no matter who's working, you just kind of plug and play.
Mhm.
It took us a while to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we were running around with, you know, chickens with our heads cut off, but
Yeah.
it's all about systems and having procedures and then, you know, being diligent and firing fast is really important, right?
You're fired.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't hang, then you got to go because and hiring people is an investment, you know. And sometimes you hire some. We made those mistakes, hiring someone and wishing and hoping that they're gonna be something that they're not, and then you know, $100,000 later, it's like, oh God, we sunk a lot of money into this person, you know. But
Yes.
yeah, and then and working hard. But I say that, and I want to say that carefully.
Yeah.
Because I do think that
Working smart.
versus harder. Yeah, I think working hard is one of the biggest fables that we're told to us.
Yeah,
that if you work
we found
hard,
that
you'll
didn't work
be
out well.
successful. Exactly. It's just not true.
No,
you
it's
know?
not. You
You
just
can be
get
working
sick.
3 jobs and still, you know, making ends meet.
Right, because you haven't figured out a strategy of how, because money is an energy.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
It's an energy.
Yeah.
And it flows where you go.
Right.
You know? So it's fluid. By being fluid, you got to figure out how to make it work. You know?
Right.
And I like what you were saying, how you got everything like this. It's kind of like a system. I hate to say McDonald's system. And the reason why I say that is because when they figured out a system, they changed the game for every other restaurant. Wendy's came in. I did the history stuff channel. Wendy's came in and said, let's learn from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Chick-fil-A was like, let's learn from you.
Yep.
Everybody learned the system.
Yep.
So that's what it is, a system, isn't it?
Yep. It's all about the system. You build that
Awesome.
and you can plug and play it everywhere.
And you learn from your mistakes.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't realize that, but growth comes from making mistakes.
Yep. And then
And you get better.
No is a next.
That's right. And you just keep getting better and better,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. That's awesome. So with children involved, this is the thing. Just take them with you. You know, I love that Beyonce thing. The reason I go back to her again with Queen is because she put her daughter in her show.
Yeah, she did.
So I'm sure you can do the same things, like if your child is interested,
right?
Just like you were interested in the way your father was doing things, right?
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want my kids to want to do whatever they want to do.
Absolutely.
And I will put as much money and time and effort into them as possible.
Absolutely.
One of the things when I watched Tiger Woods documentary that he came out with a couple years ago, and seeing how much his dad put into him. You know, one of the first things I thought about was like, God, my parents didn't do enough for me. I mean, why did they have me on the golf course?
Yeah, and even
honestly,
the twins.
I wouldn't have wanted
not the
to be
twins,
there.
but the tennis players.
Yes, exactly. Venus
Same
and Serena.
thing. Yeah.
But I wouldn't have wanted to be. But it was, you know, it worked out that, and same with Beyonce and her father. You know, it was something that she had a drive for.
Yeah.
Tiger had a drive for, and then the father was like, "Look, you got to work. You got to work."
And you got to have that type of parent to inspire you, or of somebody close to you to mentor you in that direction. My father was always, even though he worked, you know, he was born in 26. Okay, so his life was very different. But he always said to me, "I see a gift in you. I want you to do what you love."
Right.
And I will buy the building. I will set it up for you, because he had that entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't do it in the beginning, because my life kind of took a change and went somewhere else, it still came back full circle because it was still in me.
Right.
And it wasn't until he passed, and this is a touching story, I looked in at an old, beautiful, you know how they have those beautiful cabinets that your parents have, and I looked in the drawer, and I saw when he first came to New York how he had ledgered everything that he was doing every day on his job by date and everything he had to do, year by year.
What was he doing?
He started off as a mechanic because he came from the South, and he had to learn on his own because he was a Navy man. And then when he left the Navy, he wanted to learn, so he went and he worked his way up. And so he had that, but he also had every book I did, which I didn't realize. And it had put in there that I used to be a writer. I wanted to do plays. I used to write plays and comic strips. And I forgot all about that stuff. But he remembered everything that I ever wanted to do, and he wrote it down.
Reminded you.
And when I looked, I was like, oh my God, I forgot. Then when I went back to my mom, I call her the Leave It to Beaver wife. I said, Mom, did you know that I wanted to do? She goes, yeah. Don't you remember when you was a little girl, you used to always want to be in entertainment, and you wanted to be a teacher, and you used to have all the kids come up, and y'all used to do plays with the flashlight, have all the. I forgot all about it.
Wow, right.
I forgot all about it. And that's what because when you're lifing,
right,
and I'm with my husband and my children, they were babies.
Right.
You forget all about that stuff. You're just living your life and learning how systems work in other
Right.
countries and stuff. And then all of a sudden, everything starts coming back to you, but it takes time.
Became the dreamer again.
Well, yeah, it came. Pandemic woke me up,
Right.
But although I, started working as a teacher, because I love teaching of any kind and working in the church and evangelism, I love it. So it was. So people said, well, how was it so easy for you to just sit down and talk and not feel uncomfortable? It's because it's
born for this.
It's
Right.
born
I was
for it, right?
ready for this.
Whenever
Yeah.
when it becomes, it's hard when you do things because that's what it is, learning how to do things.
Right.
But it's your baby and you love it.
Right.
So you don't plant your seed and you're
Right.
going to nurture it and you're going to
Exactly.
take good care of it, just
Yeah.
like what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, living your purpose, right?
Absolutely.
So tell the world, give them some inspiration, because you already gave us so much anyway. So what would you say to the young, beautiful black and brown children out there about life? Because we are in the world of technology, because right after this I'm going to the tech show because I have press passes and I'm going to be talking with them and and learning about AI and all this. So the world is changing.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to the young people that's coming up now? It's going to be a little different for them.
Absolutely. I would say that, don't believe everything you see on
Okay.
the internet and hear. A lot of what people put out there into the world is what they want you to believe.
That's true.
And what a lot of people put out there is not even their real self. It's how they see themselves, right?
Mhm.
That might not be fact at all.
Right. Right.
So run your own race.
I like that.
Keep running.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Yes.
And, believe in yourself. Bet on yourself.
Yeah.
I like that. Be your own fan.
Mm-hmm.
Clap for yourself, huh?
Exactly. And be
Yeah.
careful about being a worker bee.
Yeah.
I promote entrepreneurship.
Yes.
This is a conversation me and my fiance have all the time about whether college or business is in the best interest for children. I'm hoping our 15-year-old will have a thriving business, and there are other ways you can educate yourself,
Right.
HBCU, that's different,
Yeah.
because I think that's a worldly experience for blacks,
Yes.
that
Yes.
you're not going to get anywhere,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But if, Ivy League, all those things, it sounds nice, but I'm not sold. Because they teach you how to be a worker bee versus how to, create something on your own and then have the worker bees working for you.
Yes. You said it so eloquently. You're absolutely correct. And see, you already know what's going on in the world. The world is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And college is not the answer for everyone.
Especially considering how expensive it is.
And knowing how America is set up. It's only set up for you to work 9 to 5. It's set up for you to be like a factory worker just doing, and then when it's over, you're just dead and gone.
Right.
Yeah. It's not set up for you to make money and become powerful.
Or to even have an open mind.
It's just not to have an open mind.
Yeah, exactly.
You're so correct on that.
And
So,
creativity is what breeds entrepreneurs
Yes.
and geniuses.
But wasn't that's the way it was way back in history, hundreds of years ago. That's how we got all these inventions and how the world changed because of creativity.
Yeah.
And so
putting
it's
people in boxes.
Yeah, so it's going full circle all over again. So that is absolutely correct. I agree.
There's a
with
really
you.
interesting study that I watched on the internet. I can't remember the name of it, but they surveyed 15 5-year-olds and determined what their genius level are.
Oh.
They found out that all of them were geniuses. They thought and were creative like geniuses, and as they went through levels of school, they kept losing that sort of intelligence because of how schooling puts you in a box and teaches you how to think one way instead of being creative.
Yes.
So it's like we all start off with being able to do
God
and be
wants us
whatever
all.
we want.
He has plans for our lives,
Yeah.
and He wants us all to live an abundant life.
So I'm
But
hoping that
you
at some
said,
way I
get
can find a way.
brainwashed.
Exactly. I'm hoping that, because obviously they need to go to school.
Of course.
But I'm hoping I can find a way to keep the open-mindedness and the challenging part. You know what? In Kevin Hart's new movie Lift, he says a line where he talks about when he would be sitting in class and looking at the blackboard, and everyone was following what was on the blackboard and what was taught. He was always thinking about the questions that weren't being asked.
So, like, you know, I was kind of like that too. You know, it's like I would always be looking around, going, "How come they don't ask this one?
Why aren't they doing it this way? Why aren't they teaching it to us that way?" Right.
I was that person too, and a lot of times students don't like you.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
You're the weird one. You're the strange one. It's like, why
is she raising her hand again? Don't you know we want to leave this class?
Exactly.
Oh, shut up.
And now you're confusing me.
Yeah. I was that one. Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. And we are now at an age there where everybody needs to find their purpose. Right. And like you said, and
then you have so much of an opportunity to do so now with Instagram. I mean, these platforms are making people millionaires off of your passion. Like the percentage of people who could find income based on their passion when I was growing up, when you were growing up, was so small compared to now. So it's like, take advantage.
Yes, absolutely. You said you put some gems out there. I thank you so much. I could talk to you forever because we got so much in common about what we feel about how this world is changing, where we are going. This is a beautiful time, believe it or not, for Black and brown people.
Absolutely.
This is the first time in history we can do what we want to do, when we want to do, how we want to do, okay?
Everybody
and nobody can tell you no.
Yeah.
Because if they tell you no, next, I'm going to do this my way. Okay? And that's just the way it's going to be. And whether they like it or not, whether the other half like it or not, it's too bad.
Right.
It's just too bad.
Next.
Next.
Right.
Okay. And on that note, I just want to say this. First of all, let everybody know where they can find you. Besides your law practices, your handles.
So number one, you can find me by searching my law firm, Burns Shepherd Favors. Again, I'm Erica Burns. My Instagram is Erica_Esquire. Facebook, Erica Burns. And then, call us at my office if you're interested. 407-574-7336, extension 2.
Are you on LinkedIn as well?
I am on LinkedIn. Erica Burns, you can find me there as well.
Yeah, awesome. Because I know a lot of business people on LinkedIn, so we want to make sure that everybody.
And I'm not on X. On X. I do not support Elon Musk.
Okay, I don't blame you. Okay. And I'm Queen D, and this was another episode of Queen Court's Conversation. And you know where you can find me: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay, because I'm going to make sure I cover everything, so you can't miss me. And this will be on YouTube because YouTube is going to be the next TV. If you don't know that already, start paying attention, huh? And you can tell which way the world is going. Yeah. People got their own cable channels and everything else now. Yeah. So you got to think about those things, right? Yeah. And thank you so much. And let's get some champagne here. And we're going to toast some champagne to life. Because we life it.
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to do. Okay.
Cheers.
A toast to life, abundance, prosperity, in a beautiful way.
Thank
you. You're welcome. Cheers.